Hey everybody, so I know it's been a minute since I posted, but I was feeling kind of discouraged and going through stuff, so I didn't really feel motivated, but I just don't want to give up on my creative outlet. So for this video, I wanted to talk about validation and, just in terms of law of assumption, because I know most of us feel triggered, threatened by what we see in our reality. We feel like we're stepping into manifestation to create changes in our lives, and yet we feel like the reality isn't changing, that it's not consistently working, and all that stems from certain limiting beliefs we have about the way that life works. And law of assumption is pretty direct. It's like I don't know what the word is. It's basically a mirror to your assumptions. So sometimes we can get so deeply embedded in a certain belief or assumption that things are the way they are that we don't even see that we're holding the assumption. And I just want to give an example because I was watching Tom from Be Something Wonderful. He's like a well-known spiritual person. If you're in our community, you probably heard of him. But basically, he has said, you assume that what you consciously think, believe, and assume is somehow less powerful because you have been taught that is not what forms your life. And this is basically a core assumption that can literally affect everything in terms of manifestation. Because if we break it down, like what we consciously think, believe, and assume is somehow less powerful. I know I felt that way, and I've still been feeling that way because I would get these feelings of guilt, shame, frustration, unworthiness, disempowered. I would feel helpless because I feel like I'm doing everything I know how to do. I know everything there is to know about manifestation, and yet the manifestations are not happening. Yet I'm manifesting other people's success stories, or I'm getting what I consider to be small manifestations, yet the big things like moving out and being debt free and all this other stuff that I know is possible, for whatever reason I'm not getting it. And at first you feel like the emotion that you're having and the sensations in your body feels like, okay, I'm not good enough or something's wrong because of how you feel. But it's literally only your assumption that that is something that's in the way that's causing it to be a problem for you. Meaning you could feel insecure in it and still manifest whatever you want. Obviously, I would rather be happy and do it, but if you're thinking that emotions and the way you feel in your body is a sign or telling you that it's not working, that's where your problem lies. It's feeling disempowered to change your circumstances when you are the one giving everything power, everything meaning. So that means if you feel disempowered, you're using your life force, your creative energy to filter it through a state of disempowerment where you don't get your manifestations. That's literally the only thing that is causing you to perceive the way that you're seeing things. And this is talking to me too, because I know I've still been doing this, even when I've seen several signs of me shifting to different realities. For whatever reason, I still haven't been allowing myself to experience the manifestations that I've been asking for on a consistent basis. So, like I said, the core thing when it comes to manifestation is having a clear expectation and belief about what forms your life. If you don't believe that you form your life, if you don't accept and trust that your thoughts, your affirmations, whatever technique, whatever method or way that you choose to manifest does not work, that's going to be the literally probably one of the biggest assumptions that influence how manifestation works for you. And this is something that I'm saying as someone who's been on this journey for over, I want to say, 13 years. And with everything that I know, still getting tripped up. And it happens. But I just want to say that there's no perfect way to learn it. And a lot of times we create our own suffering. But that means we also have the key to unlock it and set ourselves free. So the biggest takeaway from that is understanding what assumptions you have about what truly forms your life. Because it's okay if you don't believe it, but if you don't have your awareness on the fact that I create my life, I form my life with my affirmations, with my belief systems, or whatever I tell myself is how life works, that's how life works for me. And really drill that into yourself until you have that confidence. Or you could honestly just affirm, like, I'm confident that I form my life. I'm confident that my affirmations, whatever I say, whatever I think, whatever I believe to be true is what's true for me, despite what other people around me believe to be true for them. Like, it doesn't matter if other people share the same beliefs. We're allowed to coexist with people because basically everybody's living their own personal reality through their own lens, but you're still experiencing people based on your assumptions of them. So you have that influence to a certain degree, but everybody's existing in their own little bubble, in their own reality, while we're still living side by side, coexisting with some shared, bigger, universal beliefs just in terms of society and how life works. But you get to mold and pick which ones apply to you, but you don't have to be disturbed if someone else is experiencing, more difficulty, or like choosing to create from a place of being unconscious versus conscious, etc. So the other thing that I wanted to say that he mentioned in that video was, the next thing was, you have been told that regardless of your beliefs, you are terrorized by unconscious conditioning. So there you have it. Most of us can have thoughts or experiences that reflect that perfectly, especially just thinking about how we're raised. When we raised in a certain household, parents and society will, influence us with whatever their belief systems, and it's really up to us to be able to think for ourselves and branch out of it. But just basically thinking, like in that example, when you believe something or you wanted something to be true, here come your parents with, conditioning. Oh, life doesn't work that way, or you have to do it this way. So even though you wanted to do what you wanted to do, you got limited by people placing their own limitations on you. So the next thing I wanted to say is about distinguishing your limitations from others. First of all, there are no limitations. The whole key for me has been dissolving all limitations about life and my capacity to have what I want. But if you're conscious of where things come from, you can separate what's yours and what's somebody else's. Release it, let it go, give it back to them, whatever you want to do with it. But basically, we have this push and pull, this fight where we have our beliefs, we know what we want to be true, we want to be optimistic, we want to be positive, we want to think big. And whether it's our parents, whether it's our social circle, our friends, whether it's society, we have so many people around us showing us that, you still have to be conditioned by this. Whether it's the government, whether it's school, we see so many places where these institutions are still trying to condition us and say, well, you still have to play by our rules, so it doesn't really matter what you think. And honestly, that's part of the illusion too. Like, you could let go of that limitation thinking that people are against you, or people have the capacity to cause you to feel conditioned and feel like you can't think outside of that box. That would just be another assumption to let go of. But this was another awakening moment for me, realizing that I was still allowing myself to think that I could be influenced by something that I'm unaware of. It makes no sense to think that something you're unaware of can have power over you, because once something in your awareness, like it's not in hiding, it's there. So I think that's just another trap that we fall into. And obviously, law of assumption will just show us evidence of that. So if you constantly think there's something unconscious that I have to figure out, that I have to let go of, but since it's unconscious, how do I figure this out? You get trapped in this cycle, this loop of constantly seeking answers, but never really finding the solution. And that's exactly where I find myself to be, this illusion of being stuck, because I'm in this assumption that that's what reality is showing me. So I realized that it's just coming to the awareness of what you're doing to trip yourself up, and in your awareness of it, it's no longer an issue. That's the same thing, like I forget, somebody said, once you become aware of a habit, then it becomes a choice. So then it becomes you still choosing to do something, still choosing to pick those negative thoughts, those negative assumptions, still choosing to pursue those negative limiting beliefs in your reality instead of choosing from the new assumption. And what does that look like? It's just in the beginning, when you're not seeing physical things right away, it's going to look like you just reaffirming to yourself, you validating yourself to say, I know I'm in control of my life. If this, not even if, I know the situation resolved itself. I know the circumstance is changing right before my very eyes. It's just being decisive in the way that you look at things. The same way you were choosing to look at things in a negative way for however long, now it's choosing, okay, well, this is my way of life. It's just like when you go on a diet or something. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just something you do one day. It's who you are now. Um, and then the last part, he was like, and as long as you hold that belief, you'll experience that as reality. So, yeah, that's basically what we have here. Law of assumption, it reflects back whatever you assume to be true. So, if you assume that no matter what you believe, you still are controlled by some conditioning that you are unaware of and that you don't have the power to change, that how else would you think things would go for you? How else do you think you would feel constantly feeling frustrated or full of fear, um, just disempowered, and all of the above? For me, it's struggling with daily anxiety about literally everything. It's not a good way of living. So I think the main thing that I wanted to take away is that all of this, especially in terms of validation when it comes to the law of assumption, validation no longer becomes a thing. Like, you don't need it anymore because you are the validation. So if you create the assumption that, okay, I don't need validation from anything because I'm the one who's in control, you are no longer going to have a need for insecurities or just disbelief, even having doubt and fear. It's not that you won't ever feel that sensation again, but it's no longer going to be something you consider to be an obstacle to you getting what you want. Like, there literally are no obstacles. So your validation is you. I know that can be frustrating, especially if you feel like circumstances don't appear to be changing. That's just gonna be on you to tell the new story consistently, no matter what you see. And I know for me, that's the biggest part, not giving up when it feels like nothing's happening. But it's just one of those things that you're gonna have to just push through until you see the evidence. Well, not see the evidence, because I don't want you to feel like you have to look for evidence. When your manifestation appears, it's gonna be obvious. It's gonna be right in front of your face. You're literally gonna have the thing that you want. So once you put that more into practice and stop giving up on yourself, then it's gonna become just automatic and natural. It's just really having that consistency in telling your story. Because if you're flip flopping from, oh, I believe this works, to nothing's happening, it's literally like a push and pull in two different directions. You have to go full force ahead. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm in control. I am my own validation. Whatever I tell myself to be true is what's true. And just keep that repetition going and build that confidence. It's already there. It's just you have to keep putting your attention and your awareness on it. But I don't want this to get any longer than it is, and I'm kind of tired. So if you're seeing this, that means I didn't have to record it again. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna come up with some other videos because I've been doing some writing, and I'm also doing more vlogs on my other channel, so y'all could go subscribe to that too. I'm gonna try to put that below. It's a travel vlog, but I'm also gonna put like hobbies and interests just to separate the two. But yeah, I think that's where I'm gonna end this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.